About 2 years ago, I posted this video demonstrating how to use the DJI SDK with iOS. Now, I had done some custom work demonstrating how to use virtual sticks from the SDK to send flight commands to a Mavic Mini. Now, the great thing about the SDK is it's not limited to the Mavic Mini, but it's an interesting platform to be able to develop for because it's so small. And in this video today, based on many comments that I've received over the past 2 years, I want to demonstrate how to get up and running with the DJI SDK on Android. So I'll go through using the sample app provided by DJI, but walking through some of the gotchas associated with Android development. It's not always intuitive. While DJI makes great hardware products, there's definitely a lack of good documentation for interfacing with the SDK. In case you're unfamiliar with the SDK, it's incredibly powerful. It really allows third-party developers to unlock a lot of capabilities with the DJI hardware. Drone Deploy is a great example of the use of the SDK, as well as Drone Link. And then a few years ago, I wrote an app called Drone Blocks that allows you to do block-based programming with the SDK. Most recently, I've updated this to support Tello, so there's less focus on the DJI hardware and more focus on Tello, just because it's a great tool for teaching and using indoors in the classroom. Let's go ahead and proceed with the tutorial. I'm currently on the Mobile SDK Android GitHub repo. The code is available, the sample code is available through the MIT license, which is actually pretty surprising to me, but that's good for all of us. So the first thing that we'll do is, I'm just, for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to download the zip file and unzip it and open the project. Now you could certainly clone it and then pull in changes as they're made, but for the sake of this demonstration, we'll just work with a static project. After unzipping the project, I have a Mobile SDK Android folder, and then in here is sample code, and this is what we'll load into Android Studio. I've already gone ahead and done this, but I'll show the path here. Underneath the SDK download, there's a sample code directory. I'll go ahead and click on that. Once the project is open, make sure you go to project view or any view that you're comfortable with, but I want to walk through just a high level of the project structure. We have a manifest directory with our Android manifest file. Now this is one of the most important files because we'll have the ability to put the API key in here. And this is unique to each application. You have to register with DJI to be able to populate this key. Inside the Java directory, we have a lot of the example source code, and today I'm going to demonstrate the flight controller virtual stick commands as I've done previously. Now, if you're not familiar with virtual sticks, they allow you to send flight control commands directly to the flight controller, bypassing a lot of the high-level interface like the waypoint mission API. So what this will allow us to do is send commands at a very fast pace to the drone and then be able to control its yaw, pitch, roll, and throttle. And I'll just go down to the resources. We'll look at the different layouts, specifically the layout for the virtual sticks. Well, that doesn't look very good, but just know that there are a bunch of different buttons that we'll see here in a minute when we're able to run the demonstration. So you can see all these different enable virtual sticks, coordinate system. I think there's a button to take off. The next thing that we'll do before we actually build the project and try to run it is we'll go back to the manifest. We need to populate the API key. To get an API key, once again, you need to have an account. You'll go in, you'll create your app, you'll specify mobile SDK, the app name, obviously your platform, the package name. You might be familiar with the bundle ID on iOS and Android. You just do like a com, my domain, app name, whatever that may be, you can use there. Category, not a whole bunch of options here. If it's not relevant, you can just select other. You'll click create, you'll receive an email, and from that email, I believe you click a verification link and then you're pretty much ready to go. After the app registration is complete, it's generally pretty quick. You'll get an email right away. The two most important bits of information are the package name and the app key. In our manifest file, we have the package name at the top. I just use the default, the com.dji.sdk.sample. Now, this is defined by you when you create your app, so make sure that whatever you define that you put into this line. The other bit is the app key. That is unique and generated by DJI. We'll go down to the API key field and paste this value in. We'll go ahead and run this. Now I have an emulator already set up. You might have to create a new one, and I'll be totally honest with this step. Most often times the emulator will crash. There's not a whole lot of value that you gain unless you're maybe testing your UI functionality, but we don't have the ability to interface with the actual hardware or the drone. So I'll normally just run this against my actual device, but let me go ahead and give this a run and let's see what happens. Now it'll take a while to build, so be patient. The emulator should launch and then we can do a quick check and then I'll build it again and run it on my Samsung device. You can see the app launching and then of course, as I'm used to, the app is crashing. Let me just take a quick look at the app logs to see if I can figure out anything. Fatal exception. We're not even going to worry about this right now. I think I've worked around this in the past, but perhaps I'll post a video in the future if anyone really cares about getting it to run in the emulator. So with that being said, let me go ahead and connect my Samsung device. This is the Samsung Galaxy, and then we'll go ahead and select this device target here. I'll go ahead and run the app. Everything should build and we should have the sample app running on the device. And I'll add that I'm going to do this demonstration with Spark. I really like the Spark even though it's discontinued because you connect to the remote's Wi-Fi and that allows me to stay connected via cable to Android Studio so that I can debug breakpoints and so forth. If you're an Android wireless debugging user, that's always an option for you. I'll switch to this view so you can see the build. It's currently running. I'm connected via USB to Android Studio. So what we need to do, and this applies generally to the first time a user installs your application, the app needs to be registered. Now, a lot of times this is done automatically when you launch your application, but the way the SDK example app is set up is this is done manually. So I'll go ahead and register the app. I'll just leave it as approximate location. And then let me click register app. Again, it says registering. SDK registered successfully. Now, that is important because if the SDK registration does not happen, then your users will not be able to use your app and interface with the drone. I have my Spark powered up and I want to walk through this process. Now, Spark is unique in the sense that we have our transmitter, obviously the drone, we arm and we can disarm, but the unique thing about this is that in most cases, like with the DJI Mavic Minis and Mavics, you connect to your remote controller with the cable. In the case of Spark, we connect via Wi-Fi, so the actual remote controller broadcasts a Wi-Fi connection. So I'll go ahead and wait for this to load. You'll see Spark RC. I'm going to go ahead and tap this. Now I'm currently on the hotspot created by the transmitter or the remote control. We'll go back to the app. You can see that it shows that we're connected, and because we've already registered, I can now open the app. The cool thing about the SDK examples is there's a ton of example code and demos. You can see this entire list, but because I was focused on the virtual stick implementation, and because I received so many questions, we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that. So for starters, I'm going to demonstrate just a simple takeoff and land with my transmitter. So I'm in the air, I'm able to control. I'm going to go ahead and land. And all the while, my Android device running the SDK is currently paired with the remote controller. So I'm going to set the remote control down and now use the Android app. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky. Obviously this SDK is not the ideal implementation from a UI perspective, because we have our virtual sticks over on the side. It's a little bit tough in portrait mode. So I'm going to go ahead and tap takeoff. We're in the air. Now I still have control with my transmitter, but I'm going to go ahead and enable the virtual sticks. It says success, okay. When the virtual sticks are enabled, we currently can't give input with the transmitter. So now the SDK has control, and I'm going to do my best not to crash and burn. So I'm now using the throttle stick. I'll give it a little bit of yaw, trying to keep it at a nice hover. So the yaw input is actually really slow, but the beautiful thing is via code we can configure that. So now I'm going to give it a little bit of roll input. See, that's a lot faster. And then let's try a little bit of pitch. So as I move these sticks, these flight commands are sent to the drone, and then obviously it's responding in real time. So now I can go ahead and click disable virtual sticks. It says okay. And then hopefully, of course, I'm able to take control again with my transmitter. That was a high-level overview of using the mobile SDK for Android with the DJI Spark or any DJI SDK compatible drone. I encourage you to look through the project, get familiar with some more of these APIs that come in the SDK. You'll be amazed at really the level of access that you have to the hardware. And I do plan on an upcoming video to do more with the virtual sticks. And if you're not familiar with the Mavic Mini, unfortunately, we don't have the ability to use the waypoint mission operator. This allows us to plan a mission like you've seen in Drone Deploy and other apps. Litchi supports it, where you can click and set waypoints on a map and have the drone fly around to those points. I hope to, with the flight controller and virtual stick view, to demonstrate how to use these inputs combined with the ability to get GPS location, and we can simulate waypoints with those two APIs. So thanks for all the questions over the years related to the SDK for Android. I hope this at least gets you a little bit more familiar with it. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And until next time, thanks for watching.